Greetings. So I'm very excited about this particular video and model and just everything here. This is what Stable Diffusion 3 should have been. It's from a company called BlackForestLabs.ai. I think a lot of the stability team ended up joining this team. Anyway, this Black Forest Labs, and by the way, I'm going to refer to this as ham because I think Black Forest ham because I like ham. I digress. This particular model though is just absolutely insane. It can do text pretty well. On top of that, you will notice this is an AI generated image, and that is 5 fingers. So it's pretty cool. I'm very excited about this. I've been tinkering around with this a little bit. There's several different ways you can get this thing running. You do need a pretty beefy graphics card. I got it running last night on my 3090 Ti at home. I'm at work right now just because I figured some students might want to noodle with these videos too. So I'm on a 4090 with I think this computer has 128 gigs of RAM. So these are my machines I use to train like cancer imaging stuff on. So and occasionally I'll record a video on how to use these things. So anyway, here's just some samples that Black Forest AI released, just showing what this Flux model can do. Um, Again, these are all AI generated, so it's based on a diffusion model, or it uses an interesting new architecture that I'll do another video on later for like technical audience. But this one's just if you got a pretty powerful computer, an M3 Mac with a decent amount of RAM can also run this. This video is meant Windows running a GTX with at least 16 gigs of RAM. That said, I did throw it in low memory mode, and I have a GTX like 1080 laying somewhere. I kind of want to try this on. I'm not sure if the CUDA libraries will work on a card that old, but I want to see how this thing performs on a more consumer grade card than just your high end gaming card, because got to get those frame rates for Final Fantasy 14. I digress. We're here to talk about this again. This is all AI generated, and this is what Black Forest has released. Now, this is where I was tinkering with a little bit last night. These are just I was doing several different tests with it just to see what I could do. Again, mentioned Final Fantasy 14. My friends were like, "Oh, you can't generate anime girls." I'm like, "I guarantee you, I can generate anime girls." That was probably the first thing they tested. So anyway, there's a way to get these prompts too. I have an add-on in automatic, but anyway, these prompts weren't anything special. It was like anime girl with purple hair holding a scythe and making a peace sign. This one was the Stable Diffusion 3 joke, a girl laying in the grass. I added a little bit more details of the prompt, some like cerulean eyes or like reflections of cerulean or something like that. Just adding more concepts to it to see what I can do. And again, these are ones I just generated on my 3090 at home using the 8, the float 8, not 16 model. So this was using a lesser model still. It is capable of doing not safe for work images as well. I'm clearly not going to do that because one, I'm at work. Two, it's a YouTube thing, and you know how YouTube gets. And three, if you are that driven to generate AI not safe for work images, you're probably not watching this video anyway. So, um, that said, again, these are all. This one's probably the closest to like appearing AI generated just because of the actual over hyper dynamicness. You can do the schematics like Stable Diffusion XL. I thought that was pretty cool. I'm a nerd. I like that stuff. Hamburgers, always, big fan. I watched the menu the other day, and yeah, that whole scene about the hamburger. So got to test with a hamburger. Um, plus again, I like food. Hamburger fractal, so it knows what a fractal is, and you can see it's trying to do like the Mandelbrot dynamism there. Um, I like watercolors, what's the word I'm looking for? Watercolor type painting. I think this one was like Two People in Love, watercolor, water paint, something like that. So there's a whole set of these, and then again, again, this is all AI generated, so I think it's pretty cool. Tried doing like stained glass there, just testing effects. This is again, so far I've only gotten a few bad images out of this thing, and funnily enough, this one is what I would call a bad image because I was trying to get a watercolor painting, and it overdid it on the hand. So if Stable Diffusion 3 is trained too hard to not use human anatomy, this one seems to be trained too hard to get correct anatomy, which, again, for my use cases, is actually pretty cool. I was just gonna show. I mean, y'all are watching, you can skip forward. I'm just showing you some of the stuff I generated here. I thought this one was cool. I forgot the exact prompt, but it was something like oil painting of unrequited love. And again, if you zoom in here, she's just not into it. Again, it's it's AI generated. You could put art in quotes if you want. I'm not here to have that debate. I'm just here to show you how to use these tools. I just thought this looked cool, and that's kind of if you're watching this video, I'm trying to show you how to make stuff that looks cool. So again, rare miss there. The Flux model doesn't have negative prompting, so yeah. Again, unrequited love prompt there. It's interesting. It handles concepts in a very strange way. Testing like generating galaxies and stuff here, space, cosmos, Hubble Ultra Deep Field type stuff. The prompt I like to use here is from Tolkien. I tried the gray rain curtain. The gray curtain pulls back, and you see a swift sunrise under far green shores. The dream Frodo had in House of Bombadil. Sorry, we're not here for that. But anyway, again, this is AI generated, but on cursory glance, I mean, the hills give it away because it's like missing detail. But otherwise, I mean, the grain is there, and sunrise, sunset. It actually has a washed out. That's what impressed me is the skyline is washed out as if I had shot this on a crappy like point and shoot camera. So I think that's pretty cool. This one I was actually really giving it hell. I was like, okay, I want a Gotham cityscape. I want it raining at night. I want to capture just sort of that just ephemeralness of rain in the city when everybody's there but you don't see anybody. This is like the whole prompt. And then I want neon cat signs in windows. So again, I didn't really specify any other text for display other than I want neon cats in windows. So it kind of biffed the text there. I haven't tested the text or anything yet. Again, I'm just showing y'all like everything I generated with this. This was where I was testing concepts of just like loneliness, and this is what it generated. Um, Again, I think it's kind of cool. So again, like loneliness, computer science 80s textbooks. I had a lot of fun with this one. If you've ever looked at older math, comp sci, just any like scientific older textbook, you know exactly what I was trying to get here, and it did a pretty good job. I think. Again, it's pretty good. Um, and then just a couple other like just testing its limits here. Like I was testing how much guidance I can give it while retaining safe for work generation. So you can see a couple of those here too. So it was like female paladin wearing scantily clad armor, and that's what it defined as scantily clad. Um, Again, depending on what they trained it on there, that kind of looks like the horde symbol. So I don't know what the training data was. All I know is they released the weights open under Apache tube. So again, just kind of testing it here. Some of these were like kind of it's not perfect, but I wasn't really gunning for perfection last night. I was just testing its limits. It can do pixel art, I think, pretty well. I'm not a pixel. I'm clearly not an artist, but the pixel art that it generated, I think, looks cool. So if you're looking to like make a little pixel art like retro game, this might be a kind of neat tool to generate some art assets, which is the next thing I did here. I was like, can you generate pixel art assets for like a 16-bit game? And sure enough, I mean, what's really cool here is it gave her heterochroma there, and you can see it on two of those at least, three of those actually, if you zoom in further, it kept the heterochroma on the eyeballs down there. So I thought that was kind of cool. So again, photorealistic type stuff. Not sure what's happening there, but it is AI generated, so it's not going to be totally perfect. But again, this is not a real person. It might have been trained on someone in the data set. I have no idea who it is though, and that's the downside to this. So yeah, we were again testing its limits of how safe for work we can go. So please don't demonetize me, YouTube, for showing scantily clad women. I was trying to test the limits of the prompts, and it will again it will do not safe for work images. If you want fantasy maps, it'll generate fantasy maps for like your D&D campaigns. I didn't even get into that. I just wanted to like see like if you generate like little fantasy maps. Sure enough, everything Stable Diffusion can do, it seems to do better. And it doesn't use a negative prompt, so that's kind of weird. I really like this. This is just cool. But I digress. So here's a few more of the images. Just kind of like here's where I began to really refine the prompt, trying to get like a not necessarily Wednesday Addams aesthetic, but just sort of like a gothic castle loneliness vibe. And you can see where it's sometimes it overcorrected in one direction or the other. So it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna show you how to use this thing today. So without further ado, again, I think that's the last image I generated. So without further ado, we're going to install ComfyUI from scratch. We are going to make sure there's no errors, and then we're going to get all the files going here. These two images, I didn't know ComfyUI can do this. Because these images have the prompt embedded in it, it has the generation parameters. So we can use these images to recreate our ComfyUI settings. So I thought that was really cool. So we're actually going to use these two images later and probably have to change some stuff. But right now, to make this thing work, because that's what you're here for. You weren't here for like an art demo, and I can't see my timer, but I'm already 10 minutes into this and I haven't done anything yet. So yeah, first things, here's everything we need. We got to get ComfyUI working. You're going to need Python 3.10. It's between 3.10.7 and 3.12, something like that. I didn't have to update Python, so I'm using Python 3.10.9. I'll put a link at the bottom of the video like usual. You're going to need ComfyUI, and shockingly, we'll get that from GitHub in a second. Then we're going to uninstall and reinstall Torch so that we know it's playing nice with our version of CUDA. This is a big model. You are going to need some form of CUDA. I'm running CUDA 12.1, even though the GTX can handle, I think it's a 12.8 now, but a lot of libraries aren't updated to that yet. So we're using CUDA 12.1. Again, links to all that. If I can't tell you to use CUDA, that's going to be dependent on your graphics card or your system setup. But if you're on a GTX, you're going to need that. So that's what we're going to do to get it set up. Then we're going to make sure ComfyUI actually runs without an error. Then we're going to add the model weights. Nothing special here. The hard part about this is there's no tutorials, there's no guides on how to set this up with ComfyUI. They're just like, they assume you know what you're doing, which is fair. If you're playing with a model like this, you probably should know what you're doing. However, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you don't know what you're doing, so that's why I'm explaining everything in thorough detail, as if I'm like paid to do this, because I kind of am. I mean, it's part of the job. Sorry if I'm getting a little close to the microphone here. All right, so then to make the last part of this work, we got to get these clip encoders, which enables us to write text on the images. So again, I'll put links to all this down below, but we just got to download a couple files, make sure ComfyUI is actually playing nice, and then we could generate these images. So let's get started. First thing we need to do, Comfy Anonymous ComfyUI. You can get the current release version over here. Oh, they actually did update it. I haven't tried that one yet. You know what? Let's try the release version. I was just going to download the code. Let's see what this does. Oh, that's a portable. I'm intrigued by this. We're going to come back to this. Let's stick with the normal process for right now. The way I was going to do this where I don't think we'll have many errors. So we'll come back to that one later. I like to click on the big green code button, download zip. That'll give me the latest code regardless. It might be buggy because you're going to get your latest commits to the code base, but you know. You're getting the latest code at least. So ComfyUI master, I like to control C that, and then over here, instead of going to output, we'll go to C drive, paste it here. I am going to rename it to ComfyUI. All right, first part's done. Now the hard part, like I say the hard part, the part that might throw some problems. I'm fairly certain this thing would just launch if I run it right now because I have tested it before. I did reinstall Python just to make sure, but everything else I uninstalled. So we're gonna go to that directory. I mean, command line, I probably should, again, if you're watching this, you might not know what I just did. Command prompt, you need to go to command prompt. So command prompt, several different ways to get there. I typed in CMD. You can see what I typed there and typoed it. That'll get you command line. You can type command. You can go all the way through the start menu. You can pin it to your start. There's a bunch of different ways to get command line. Windows R, CMD. You can actually execute the commands from there, but let's not get there. Anyway, cd dot goes back to directory, and then cd cd change directory, ComfyUI, if you can type it right. I got a microphone in front of my right hand here, so. All right, all our files are there. I know this thing will run right now because I did retest all the dependencies. We are going to uninstall the primary dependency though, which is Torch. Reason we're doing this. So if you're watching this, you probably have messed around with Automatic or Swarm or maybe ComfyUI. which means you already have Torch downloaded, which means down here, way in the README text file here, we're doing a manual install, so nothing special here. But pip install Torch Vision, all this, and yeah, it's still using CUDA 12.1. We are going to just go ahead and uninstall Torch because I have no idea what version it is. I have no idea when it was compiled and for what. We're just going to uninstall this. That actually was the correct version, but that's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and hit yes, and we're literally following I am giving you the abridged instructions so that you all don't have to read all this. And I'll also put a little like guide at that little text guide at the end of the video or below. I'll figure it out. All right, CUDA's uninstalled. So if I try to run this thing now, it is gonna throw an error. All right, now cool thing though. We're gonna go here where it says pip install Torch, Torch Vision, Torch Audio, all that fun stuff, except that's for AMD. Glad I caught that. We are going to go ahead and grab this one. That's the stable one right there. We don't want to use the nightly just because we're hoping this thing will just work out of the box. Again, hoping that we won't encounter any errors, but if we encounter errors, hey, you all might too, and you'll have a fix for it here, and it'll take me like 50 minutes on this video. All right, so it'll take a second to collect Torch. It's like 2 gigs or something like that. And we'll let that run. Come on, friend. I was gonna say we'll let that run, and the subreddit is all about this model too, and I think justifiably so. Stable Diffusion 3 was okay. I mean, I'm still using Stable Diffusion 1.5 because there's a ton of community support, but this Flux model is the first one that's really just impressed me beyond Stable Diffusion 1.5. So again, you can Flux female ethnicities comparison. That's pretty cool. Stable Diffusion, I know the 1.x models really struggled if there was melanin in any skin tones. So the subreddit is all about this, and there's all kinds of stuff emerging right now. Image generation is just a small piece of what I do with my research too. I thought you all might want to see how this thing works. So yeah, we'll make sure we get Torch installed here. Installing collected packages Torch. Again, I'm just showing the subreddit while that installs because, you know, who wants to just watch my talking head? Keep watching myself over here. So this will take a hot second. Torch is wait, 2.4 gigs? Yeah, 2.4 gigs, give or take. There was a training, like people are working on ways to fine tune this as well, which is going to lead into just some craziness once you get real people into these models. I'm kind of excited to see it. I like chaos. At the same time, I'm not sure if I want to be involved with that chaos. All right, we're keeping an eye on this. Still installing Torch. Okay, Torch is installed. Ideally, then I should be able to just type Python and then main.py, and that should launch ComfyUI. If we're gonna have an error, it'll probably be either right here, or I put the wrong model file in the wrong model folder. So let's see what happens. Using PyTorch cross attention. Hey, so far looks like it's working. 78, 80 or whatever is what automatic goes to. This thing goes to 81, 88. So that's like, you're gonna want to take this HTTP. We're not using an SSL cert. Not sure why we would, but it's running on 80, 81, 88 by default. I don't believe, I don't have anything in here right now, so nothing's gonna work. There's no model files, there's nothing. So that's the next step then. We are currently then right here. So we've got all that done. The next part then, how to make this model that generates, that was gonna be like all cool and show you the images. How do we make this model work? We need to get several files. We need to get the model weights. There's 3 forms of the model weights, 2 of which are open source. The Schnell, I think is how you say it. And I was reading, I'm sure I started doing these videos for some students I taught for BASF in Germany. I believe this is German word is what I was reading. So I'm sure someone will correct my pronunciation, but Schnell, I believe, means fast is what the internet said. And then Dev is the beefier one. I have both downloaded, but we're going to work with the Dev one right now. So we need a model weight file. we got to get the clip encoders. This is slightly different than using a base stable diffusion model. These things allow the text to be embedded on the images, among some other stuff too. But there's two files. Again, links will be down below as well. This thing goes into the unet folder. These go into the clip encoder folders, and then this one goes into the VAE, or variable audio encoder folders. So we need a total of 4 files to make this work. I have listed out 5 files because there's the Schnell model and the dev model. So that's so where do we get these things from? Luckily, you can start here if you want to make sure you're going from the right clean source. blackforestlabs.ai, get Flux. Here's the pro model. That one's only accessible through an API. I'm not interested in that. Dev model is on Hugging Face right here, and I have that open. And then the other one, I'm pretty sure if I just scroll down, there's the Schnell model. GitHub repo has all the code you need to actually launch it if you don't feel like using the ComfyUI. Or if you use ComfyUI, I mean, that's why you're watching this video. So the little Hugging Face emoji there, that will link you to Hugging Face using the dev model. So I'm just going to go ahead, go to the dev model. Remember, we need 4 files total. I have already downloaded them, but here's where you get them. There are a couple like older guides. I say older, this thing's only like 5 days old. The older guides have these as like ae.sft instead of safe tensor file. You can literally just rename the extension and it's a safe tensor file. It'll work. But we need this ae.safetensors. We need flux1-dev.safetensors. So this 23.8 gig file here, this 335 meg file right here. Need those 2 files. That will satisfy that and that. We still got to get these things, which is not part of this repo. So I don't think I might be talking. This might work, but ComfyUI had their own thing that works better. So I'm just, or I say better. It just worked. I haven't tested if it works better or not. I digress. The clip encoders that you need are over here, right? Do I have that right? Comfy Anonymous Flux text encoders. And you're going to want to download the clip L. And depending on your graphics card, you might want the float.8 instead of the float.16. Just depends on your graphics card. I'm gunning for the float.16 just because. So clip L, TX, XXL, float point, whatever. Then you need a model, the checkpoint, and you need the other file that I already forgot. ae.safetensors. Those are the 4 files. You got to put them in the right spot, then everything should work. I say should. Been talking for 22 minutes. Hopefully this just works. I tested this last night, like making sure that like this video would play nice. So you can navigate to actually use your whatever Windows system you're in. If you're in like OS 10 or Linux or I guess what was it called back in X Windows and GNOME. I doubt those are things anymore. I don't know. I very rarely use Linux. Anyway, ComfyUI folder and then models. All right. I have already downloaded these files because they're pretty big. So let's see here. Why am I doing like that? Let's just go to downloads. Downloads. All right. So over here, models. Okay. We mentioned clip. Put your clip or text encoders right here. So I have TX or T5XXL and clip L.safetensors. Those 2 files, I'm going to control X and throw them right there. Clip L, T5XXL, float.16 under the clip folder. All right. flux1-dev.safetensor, that goes in your unet folder right there. 23.2 gigs for the big model. And then the ae.safetensor model, that one is going to go in the VAE folder. Okay. I say that's it. Let's make sure it works. And then there's also this thing over here that we're going to talk about once we make sure this thing works. Ideally, then, if everything's going to plan, that's it. I'm just going to reload the UI, and then we got to actually set up the settings. But that's where we're dragging the image in. So over here, ComfyUI, give this its own window. I'm going to reload this. Okay, undefined. So I still haven't figured out how to actually manipulate this, but you know, I'm just going to change the model names around if I need to. Where did I put those? It was under output, I think. Is it right here? This is cool. I did not know ComfyUI could do this. It makes sense in hindsight, though. So this was someone else's. It might have been released from them. See how you drag and drop that? I took this image and dragged it over here, and it changed the workflow. Now, I'm not using the Schnell.sft model, and I truly, actually, that might work. Weight type, default. We're going to use, I'd rather use default. There's our encoders, a bottle with a rainbow galaxy inside of it. You'll notice 1024, 1024. Let me make sure this works before I go any further. AE.sft is not safe tensor. So, okay, so easy enough. Let's see if that should work now. Hey, okay. So far it is loading the model. Let's see if this thing will actually run. And if you're curious as to what ComfyUI is doing, you always click on your command processor down here, and it will show you. So you're not just running ransomware encrypting all of your files. It is, again, we're loading 23 gigs into our VRAM here, and I'm using a GTX 4090, which only has 24 gigs of RAM. So we'll see what happens. I did test it with 8 and 16. It was relatively fast with the 3090. I say relatively, it took maybe 30 seconds to generate an image on a 3090. I'm hoping this thing will go faster, but I might have the weight D-type wrong here. Come on, buddy. Do something. Let's see what Task Manager's doing. This is what we test before we go further. Okay. Model doesn't have a device attribute. Okay. Hopefully this is running on GPU and not CPU. It appears... that's not a good sign right there. If this is running on CPU, well, the CPU is not getting burdened either, though. I think it's just loading it in VRAM. It totally is. Okay. Yeah, there we go. I see the GPU spiking. All right, here we go. Loading in low VRAM mode, 21 gigs of 20.6 gigs of VRAM. So even though I have a 4090, it's a big model. So let's see what this generates. We should get the image over here. Goodness, I have some thoughts on ComfyUI. I can't change my window size because it's going to mess things up. But yeah, there's the image. You will notice it looks slightly weird because why does it look weird? I wonder. Now let's tinker with the prompt a little bit. And I want to change batch size 1, sampler's fine. Just do a random one here. Sampler steps 4, scheduler. Yeah, let's run that again. Let's do a woman laying in the grass, giving a peace sign to the camera. Let's make it high dynamic range sunset. So HDR, high dynamic range, is what gives you those images that really pop. Again, have no idea what this is going to do, but we're going to find out. Notice once the model is actually loaded in RAM and VRAM, this should go a lot faster now. It just takes a second to actually load it in RAM. Yeah, this is where I just go da-da-da-da-da-da, and you all get to just watch my head bounce back and forth while it generates. I mean, I'm not getting the exact results I want. It might be, I'm gonna try something else here. So this was for one of the settings, and I believe this other one is the one I was actually using. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do, this is the one I was using last night. Let me see. I'm sure someone will tell me how I can change this, but man, I am just awful at using ComfyUI. Like there has to be a way to actually change this value. I just don't know how. Like it should be just a property that I can specify under checkpoint name, but what I'm gonna do, so because this thing is looking for that file name, flow.8.safetensors, I'm just gonna rename the model to that. That's the easier solution than me. I'm sure it's some very simple setting that I'm just missing, but yeah, I don't want to waste all y'all's time watching this video. So we're gonna go to let's see here. It's under models. You're all the one listening to me like, where is it? Models. We have this under unit. So it's looking for FLUX.1 Schnell. Float.8.save tensor, save tensors. I'm also kind of curious to see if this sticks to the Float.8 architecture, if it'll actually run it. And then regardless of what it does, I got one more trick I want to show y'all before I end the video too. A woman laying in the grass, giving a peace sign. Let's try with her left hand. High dynamic range, gorgeous sunset over the mountains. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if that actually. Yeah, FLUX.1 dash SCH dot save tensors. All right, that might not work. Did I typo something first? I might have typoed something. All right, I have an easy solution for this. I actually have that model at once too. So we got the full precision one working. I'm just gonna rename that one. Let's go over here. So I mentioned one other trick here that you all can deploy. The ComfyUI people have released a self-contained model that you don't really have to do much with. That's not the right one. I just clicked on Comfy Anonymous here. Is that it? There it is. This is the one that file is looking for. So it's a Float.8. I'll throw the link down there as well. Notice it's comfy-org FLUX.1 shell and not the Black Forest Labs FLUX.1. So just a heads up, it's good to know where your models are coming from. Copyright reasons, licensing reasons, and just it's good to know whose code you're running in case there's a bad faith actor. Anyway, I already have this file downloaded. This one goes in a different place though. The reason why this one is being hateful is this file goes into the checkpoint folder. So it occurs to me I might actually remember how to do that. Anyway, let's do this thing first. Sorry, ADHD. So we're gonna go to ComfyUI, models, checkpoints. We're gonna throw that there. Okay, and we're just gonna not start over, but I'm gonna copy and paste that prompt so I don't have to keep typing it. And Control X that. That's the wrong computer. Let's get a notepad. Paste that. All right, so I'm gonna reload this, start fresh. So we have that self-contained file as well. So this is a different way to get this running. We're gonna go back to desktop. I think it was outputs, and I believe it was this one right here. No, it was the other one. It's this one. There we go. So bottle with that, and then let's grab this prompt. And like I said, this one, I did a way quicker video on how to use this one, assuming you already have ComfyUI installed. You literally just download the checkpoint, put it in your checkpoint folder, run it. Width and height, 1024, batch size 1, steps 4. That's the setting I was looking for. I think that was screwing up the other images, was the CFG scale. But you'll note this guy right here that provides this image has the note as well. So it'll take a second to load this model again. Memory, invalid prompt, failed. Prompts output, failed verification, prompt output, failed verification. Oh, that was when I ran it before. So this one should play nice. So we'll give it a second to run. And yeah, how y'all doing? My microphone, by the way, I'm sorry that my microphone keeps shifting. It's yeah, hopefully that sounds better. I'm suddenly very conscious of my own voice as well. Well, it doesn't have a device attribute, that's fine. Again, we just load in the model right now. You can watch like my disk and memory, like it's kind of fun watching like your system settings when these things run, because you are kind of pushing consumer hardware as hard as you can. I think that's fun anyway. All right, so let's see what we got here. Let me just go to the output folder. That's easier. By the way, if you want to find out where the files are, I'm sure there's a way in the interface to open this, but ComfyUI and then outputs, and then here's your images. These are the ones we generated. So view extra large. So that's the one I generated. Again, not great. That bokeh's too strong there, but this one, her anatomy, not great. Convincing if she has like a massive like lat, I guess. But we got the peace sign, we got the sunset, so you know. Let's generate a couple. Let's run that again, see what it gives us. Like I said, I wish I could make this look a little bit better in terms of UI. And you'll also notice this model is running way faster. Okay, so we got 6 fingers on that one, so you know, not great. I'm like, yeah, this model's great. You can do fingers, and then when I run it, it's like, Okay, there we go. So it took 3 attempts. The face ain't perfect, but it's running. We're having some fun with it. Um, and again, that's a pretty intense prompt. So always for what I'm testing, we could do something like, hell, I don't know, anime cat girl waifu, and let's just put in a SFW just because, again, in case you all want to generate like your anime characters. I keep knocking this microphone. So it could do cat girls, obviously. What else do people use diffusion models for? Um, we can do like, let's say something like a woman at the beach, and we'll just leave it. Not safe for work. Safe for work. We'll leave it there as well. Hopefully it should be safe for work. Like I said, it can do not safe for work. Let's just not push it. That kind of looks like it was trained on Megan Fox as well. But I mean, I'm sure it was. We'll generate another one of those. I'm trying to think of some other cool stuff I can do. This is where the subreddit comes in useful because it talks about. This hands look pretty good actually. It talks about some of the stuff that these tools can do, or what this tool specifically can do. There's probably some workflows here as well. I am actually kind of curious about this ethnicity comparison. I would love to know. I wonder if I can just like. I think the prompt is embedded in this. Can I just drag this? Nah. I have another tool that can extract prompts out, but I clearly can't do it right now. Let's do something like a highly detailed schematic of a light sword. I don't know. I like lightsabers. Lightsabers are cool. And we'll see what happens. So that's really cool. I'm sorry, that's just really cool. Let's run that again. And the text is actually pretty good too. I mean, it almost makes sense. That kind of looks like sulfurous, which again, that looks pretty cool. Trey Omwe Sescord? Sure. Let's do a scythe made out of shadows against a light source. So light source. So think like the dark saber from the Mandalorian, but like, a scythe. That's pretty cool. Yeah, no, I think again this model's pretty exciting. So you'll see me doing a lot more stuff with this, just because I think it's cool. Oh, the last thing, the image I always like start my classes with, like, you all won't believe what AI can do. A beagle standing on a surfboard wearing sunglasses. I like this test because it does two things. First, it sees if it could generate a beagle on a surfboard and all that, and then is the surfboard wearing the glasses, or is the beagle wearing the glasses? So let's find out. I'll do a couple of these and then we'll wrap it up. I'll say the thing and, be a little ashamed of who I am. That's pretty cool. What's that beagle doing wearing sunglasses on that surfboard? That beagle's not supposed to be surfing. What's that beagle doing? This so far is the best beagle on a surfboard I've been able to generate. Let's okay, I lied. Let's try to make it look a little bit more realistic. Poor digital camera quality, early 2000s, Nikon cool. If I could ever type, cool pics. And let's generate a couple of those, and then I promise I will wrap it up. It didn't really do it. I wonder if we can force the guidance with like brackets. Yeah, because it's still oversaturating the beagle. Making sure, yeah. Let's do like webcam quality maybe. Cam quality. Yeah, it's still not happy with this. Oh, that's better. I mean, it's still too detailed for like a Nikon camera from the 2000s, but yeah, that's better. Okay, one last thing. Oil on canvas, impressionism. All right, here we go. One more time with feeling. All right, we'll see what that gives us. I'll summarize and we'll call it. It's trying to do like the Great Tide there. I can see that. That's kind of cool though. The Beagle is not like oil painting or impressionism, but the rest of it is. So again, I think this model's cool. I think it has a lot of potential. I think this is the stable diffusion killer. I've tried a lot of these models. If you go to like Hugging Face, where's it at? Right here. Um, if you're curious, by the way, how like how I typically get tweets and all this stuff too, but like if you go to Hugging Face and you just go to models, they have like the top downloaded models right now. And you see Black Forest Labs, FLUX.1 Dev, FLUX.1 Schnell, and then Llama 3.1 Instruct. That and you're gonna see more videos with me using Llama 3 as well. I have no interest in Gemma. It ain't good. Um, it's like Stable Diffusion 3. It's just not great. Um, I guess that's what happened when you train it on YouTube comments. Oh, YouTube, Google's so gonna murder me. I digress. All right, this is where you can find the latest and greatest models. So you'll be seeing me do some more stuff with this. I will do a video where I like once I figure out how to fine tune it. I got some cancer images that like that's what my research is looking at is trying to generate stage 1 cancer images. That way we could build better detection algorithms with synthetic data. So I'll do like a whole video on that, but that's a whiles away because I got to figure out how to train this dang model. The next video I'm going to do is actually on how to fine-tune models themselves. I think I got one of my friends, she's kindly volunteered to let me use some of her images and her likeness. So I will tag her once I have a video ready to go to train on that. Recap. To use this tool, and here we'll get a nice little like image that we generated here. Let's see here. What would be interesting yet not overt? I think the cat girl ones will probably draw the most attention here, so we'll just do that. Again, I have no particular interest, but internet seems to like cat girls, so here we are. All right, how to make this work? You need ComfyUI, GitHub, links below. You need to reinstall Torch. I'll put a little text video there as well. Make sure you're running some form of CUDA. I'll put the command to double check CUDA to make sure you're running it there as well. FLUX.1 model weights. Take your pick. Schnell or Dev. Doesn't matter. I'll also put a link to the self-contained checkpoint file as well. You need the clip things and you need the ae.sft or save tensors. Obviously you need Python, some form of CUDA, and those files. And then that'll get you started on using FLUX.1 locally, so you don't have to rely on anyone else for giving away your data or keeping your data, all that. And let's see if we can do a bowling alley restaurant sign that says thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. See, I'm trying to get creative with it, not just be like, pretends if I could spell restaurant wrong. I'm trying to get creative with it, instead of just like, hey guys, mash that like and subscribe button. Not bad, right? Again, this is AI generated. It's not perfect, but, not bad. It's not bad. I could probably fix that in Photoshop. Thank you. Watch Linio and if enjoyed. Okay, that one's kind of bad. I'll concede that one. But once the model's loaded, I mean, it seems to seems to generate. Thank you're watching, and if you're a ranch, you like and subscribe. Absolutely. I love that right there as well. That is just perfection itself. That's again a little bit of editing. I feel like this is a great place to end it though. I'm 43 minutes in. Sorry. I knew this one would be long. I didn't even pretend. So found it useful. I'm trying to get to 500 people so I could like actually monetize this and, I give me a reason to record more videos. I got all kinds of stuff I can do. It's just life kind of got in the way in June and July. All right, I'm gonna shut up. If y'all have anything you want me to like take a look at, or if you got like any tutorials or anything you want me to like try to do or explain, I'll do my best, and we'll take it from there. But yeah, this is how you can use FLUX.1 if you're looking to generate some state-of-the-art AI images. So do what the sign says, and if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. So see y'all next time, friends.